I don't own the contract. As far as I know, that's a challenge you have. Pearson, apparently our testing methodology is a whole lot different than Tennessee. They were working on Tennessee. We're much more rigid, and so they're having to change code. Obviously, Tennessee didn't understand how to do test cases. So we're validating the data that comes through, that it's the right fields and all that before we even turn it on to you. So we have a test system, DLP, EdFi has a test system, and we're testing. Pearson tells me that they're working on it. You're going to get an email, or you're going to get a letter to your superintendents and to you guys, and to the business officers this weekend, or next week. And it's going to say, basically, for those that are working with EduPoint, Tyler, Connexus, and Jupiter, we're going to say, your vendors are working very well with us, and they're making good progress. The other vendors, we're going to tell you that they're technically in breach of contract. It's up to you. I don't have a workaround. Because the state law says what? State reporting has got to be done. Okay, but that's up to you. I'm not going to come out and do anything. I just want to inform to you. And I know there's some of them in the room, and they'll probably talk to you in their sidebars that they've got this covered. If you're comfortable, who do I work for? You. I just care about you guys. I'm not in the business of what vendor people choose. Like I said, I want them to be successful. I don't have the capacity to transport all these vendors to a system. Even if somebody picked one of the top 4, I can't do it. Now, your vendors need to help you. Please push them. And that's what these letters are basically saying. Keep putting pressure on the vendors. Remember, this has not been done in a lot of states. We're not only changing how we collect data, we're transforming how we pay. The same problem we have, 49 other states have. So, this is hard for everybody. Keep talking to us. I do talk to customers. I do have talked to all the different customers of Infinite Campus and Pearson, and they feel confident that their customer or their vendor will get it done. So, if you guys feel confident, I feel confident. What I worry about, I need you to have time to test. I want you to tell me what's wrong. I want to know what the issues are, not July 1st. I'm going to have enough problems on July 1st. I hope not. Just because I've been in IT long enough, I know. That I don't want to have testing problems. Okay, any questions? Yes, sir, ma'am.
So let's say, campus meets their deadlines and we get their release in April. Then do we have access to test with you? Is that what you're saying?
Your vendor has given us people, we work with your vendor, Anish is back right there, and he can talk to you one-on-one. He's my implementation guy. Raise your hand, Anish, stand up. So Anish will work with the vendor to pick districts. If you wanted to be a volunteer district to have test your data, work with your vendor. I want to have a select districts. I don't want to, and we need districts. The way we're doing this is we want districts to volunteer. I don't want to mess your life up because you have 2 systems running. You got to still do cities until July 1st. We have to make sure, and this was a hard thing to convince people that they had to build a test system. And I do appreciate you guys of it. Northern Arizona has been extremely helpful in helping their customers and building a test base. Because I don't want to test with test. I don't want to test with prod. I want you to find out things that you want me to work on, and I'm sure the things you find, 15 other districts will find. So I want volunteers to do this. And Anish has been working with the vendors. We want the vendors to pick volunteers too, because they know their customers. And they should know the best ones to help them with. And then we'll roll this out to a larger sample size. And of course they have to work with you. Depending on how the vendor software works, they put releases in your system and turn them on. You have to do certain things to facilitate that. What's really important is coming to July 1st. One, you're doing tests, and July 1st is live, it's production. Or after the end of the year, which this year we were closed at the end of the year around the 17th, but we had the system turned over around the 4th. So we'll be pretty quick to close to July. Because you have Vail Independent School District that starts, I think, the first week after the 4th. So they have to have it. Okay. Please, if you want to volunteer, volunteer. And Anish is in the back of the room. He will facilitate conversations if you need it. So I've talked a lot about this, so I don't need to read it to you. I'm not trying to barrage you with letters, but July 1st, I don't want you telling me I didn't know. All right? I didn't know is not going to help us. I mean, I'm working with Tucson personally. Tucson has probably got the largest of my districts. It's got the major challenge because they can't afford to update their system. It's homemade. Mojave. And I'm working with them personally. All right? And we're working to get them turned. They're moving over to Synergy. And we got to get it live in order to do their payments. Unfortunately, they're a district, and as we know how district payments go, you get paid based on this year's data. So make sure your this year's data is good. Charters are the ones that are real time. Okay, so I talked about this, and Rose has worked with you on this, and we will continue to work with you. And I'm not going to go through this because I'm sure you're going to talk about this later. Or she can talk to you about it and show you demos of them. They're running. We haven't had too many people get to test them yet, but they're running. Well, you'll see it today. That's what it says. Read the scene. So I'm not talking about them. I'm going to move on. Entity administrators. I told you how important this is. Okay, so I'm going to be up front in that I told you I make mistakes. I told you that the first day I showed up. I've tried to minimize them so they don't impact you. But the mistakes that we made with recently with validation reports being moved from Common Logon to ADE Connect, I got too many systems. ADE Connect, somebody moved all the user permissions from Common Logon to ADE Connect. 3,000 users. We had 130 calls in 2 days saying, I'm not in that district. So I decommissioned all the users, turned off those 3,000, and we will never move users again. Never move users again. What does that mean to you? We're going to notify you 2-3 weeks before we move an application from Common Logon to AD Connect. I have to turn off Common Logon. It's a seeping sieve of potential high risk for audit. Bad news for me. So why would have I moved bad things to the other one? I shot myself in the head. I patched myself, and I'm sitting here saying I'm sorry. Okay. We're going to give you communication 2 to 3 weeks beforehand saying this is moving. You, the entity administrator, will determine who gets what access. We'll give you directions on how to do it. So you can give the people in your district right access. When they leave your district, it's up to you to turn them off. That's the problem with Common Logon. It's up to us, and we never knew they moved. So it's up to you. So I'm moving the audit from me to you. But who owns the person? The district. No longer will we have access, but it's very important that you know who your entity administrators are. Yes, ma'am.
So we can turn somebody off, but we can't delete them. So at the end of the fiscal year, will the ones that we said no longer go away? I mean, we keep seeing people that we don't want because we can't.
But they don't have roles or permissions today.
Correct, but they don't go away.
Okay, so that's...
So will they next year?
So that would be a requirement that I would like to hear. So do me a favor and send me an email. Because then those are the kinds of things that I can fix, right? I can do batch processes to clean out. Based on the community, I can do the reason we don't is they could move into another district and they could assume them and bring in their permissions. But what I want to do is make it clean for you guys. If that's what you guys want, I can do a batch and clean it up. If they have no permissions, zip, they're gone. And I can take care of that. I mean, but that's the kind of stuff we're going to work through in this whole thing. Yes, ma'am.
As an entity administrator, will any new applications that get ported over automatically appear for the entity administrator, or will that entity administrator need to go in and give themselves
No, you, the entity administrator, will have access to all the applications.
without having to?
Automatically. Which means, you know, I can make a mistake. But it's intended to be that way. But what I need to do is better communicate with you. And what I want to do is create certifications for entity administrators. As you know, as an entity administrator, you have to sign an agreement. I want to make sure that's an annual agreement, so because you know people leave. And sometimes districts don't have entity administrators, and I don't know that. So we got to figure out a way, and these are learning curves, because you have full access to everything. And that means your district superintendent or whoever your bosses are say, you are God. And that's important to me, that we give you that full access. But we need to give you instructions that clearly tell you how to give role-based permissions based on each application group that we move over. So we're going to move over ESS. We're going to move over accountability. We're moving everything over. And they will have their own tabs. You're going to get a new user interface. Because we listen to you that our user interface sucks. Okay? It takes us time. It'll look different. It'll be a tabbed-based page so that you can, it'll be easier for you to manage through. And the customer. And if I don't reach it the second time, then we'll do another one.
We use PowerSchool and we assign through PowerSchool, so if I inactivate them in PowerSchool, they won't be able to, I don't have to recreate.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
It depends on how you do it.
Okay.
And you're exactly right. If you deactivate it, if those users, but you have business office users that might not be in PowerSchool that you might have put into ADE Connect, unless your whole district is on PowerSchool. It just depends. I don't know how all these districts do it, but there is two ways to You had to assign, did we know you existed as an entity administrator? Okay, do me a favor. I want to, hey Lisa, this is another one. I want to fix it. I believe you. I believe you.
I've had a similar incident where I'll go in through my third party, I'm on Synergy, go in through third party. I don't see all my entity administrator access. But if I go in through the front end, I do.
Yeah, if you go through Synergies, you're right.
So,
or you go through that, because you're not. That's not the entity administrator.
Sure.
The entity administrator is the main power that you have to be on a Windows machine. I know that you guys that use Mac have yelled at me already. I already got that. Don't yell at me. You already yelled. But the fact that this is a Microsoft solution, and you have to have a Windows machine to operate it. But Mac does Windows. If you have a more newer Mac, you can emulate Windows. But that depends on where you go. But call us, send us a ticket. I want all entity administrators. Now, if that's other than what I just said, Anish, you're going to make sure you follow up with me and we send out a communication. That's part of us two-way communicating. See, I sit up there and I breathe that rarefied beer. Beer. I drink the rarefied beer. I breathe the rarefied air. And when I'm breathing the rarefied air, somebody nobody calls me and tells me I'm messing up until you do. And when you do, I want to get on it. It might take me longer than I want to fix it, but this is my #1 system, ADE Connect. Every way you access us will be through this system. This is also how certification is going to work. As you know, we're going to online certification. So your people, we're going to have educators that live in Maryland that want to move here will be able to create a user ID on this system. Our learning management system that we're rolling out, you'll be able to, so it'll be able to be a blind, so let's say you have Google, Facebook, we'll be able to federate with you as long as you have an email address, and we can send you an email and say, here's your password, and you can log on. We do expire things after if you don't use it. This is a powerful tool. And they'll be met depending on, so the entity administrators, if you don't think you have enough training, let us know. We'll work with, we'll create trainings. This is a very important thing for us. It's for you. Yes, ma'am.
So who should we contact for more training?
Contact my help desk and tell them that I was there and that I want to get a list of people that want the training and where they're at, and then we'll sort of schedule center trainings in that area. All right?
We have the training on our website, so we have the training. We can
Here,
go on and
talking to here.
thank you for it. So we have the training right now on our website, and it has a site, a form where you can go in, register for it. Lori is back there, and she manages our outreach, and she can help you set up trainings, in-person trainings as well. So if you like someone of our trainers to come out to your fields, they can do that as well.
I think I need in person.
Sure. I'm sure, and we're always willing to oblige. As Mark said, we have those posters on our desk now. I can do it. So we have that mentality now as well.
Our job is to serve. ADE is a service agency. And I had a call which really made me feel good. I had a call from a gentleman, Brent Engelman, who's the CIO at Illinois. And he says, I read everything you're doing. I'm going to copy everything you did. And we're going to change us to a service agency instead of a police agency. So maybe this movement will move across the country, that people serve each other and we get things done. Because you have people you serve, your customers. So I talked all about this. Any questions? I'm sure I could have a whole session on ADE Connect. Yes, ma'am.
So the ones that you, from the common logon over to the Connect, the ones that you moved over by mistake, and then you had to take those rights back. So in our district, did some people in my district lose their rights, or was it restored?
No, everybody lost their rights.
So I have to give rights back?
You have to give rights back. And that email was supposed to be sent out. Did that get sent out?
It was sent out on Friday.
Last Friday, we sent an email to all your districts and entity administrators. Obviously, we might not have your name. So that's why we really need to get certification in this on entity, and we do recertification every year, so we know who the right. If I don't know the right person to send an email to,
How do we get you the right person?
can we post our entity administrators by name? Is that legal? Just their name? No nothing personal? And you can check to see if your name is there and it's not there. Can I do that on my website?
We do have it right now on ADE Connect, but that means you have to log on. So we'll publish it.
But you heard that people can't log on. I gotta fix that. Okay. I could talk a lot on this subject. And next time maybe ask for a special half hour on AD Connect. I see the need. Maybe we should start cutting this up instead of a general overview that we do specific topics, so that as you guys determine what the most important topic is, I will factor a conversation around that. I very much appreciate all your hard work, what you do for our kids every day. Let's ignore the newspaper and TV, please. And let's just make sure our kids in Arizona have the best education. I appreciate what you guys do every day.
Thank you, Mark. I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to the ADE website change.